This is AKASHVANI MOKOKCHUNG presenting an interview with Professor Jagadish K. Patnaik, Vice Chancellor, Nagaland University. First of all, a big congratulations from AKASHVANI MOKOKCHUNG for your successful completion of 3 years as Vice Chancellor of Nagaland University. We are also grateful to you for sparing your valuable time. I hope we will have a great conversation, sir. To begin our interview, will you briefly describe your experience and challenges that you face in Nagaland University?
First of all, thank you very much, AKASHVANI MOKOKCHUNG. I'm glad that AKASHVANI MOKOKCHUNG is taken note of the developments of Nagaland University ever since I came over here. And I really appreciate that after the completion of my 3 years, MOKOKCHUNG AKASHVANI is having a conversation with me. My experience in the past 3 years has been, quite interesting and also quite a challenging task. Although everything was in place, it is one of the oldest universities of Northeast region. We have completed more than 30 years now. The biggest challenge was to have so many campuses. When I joined, we had 4 campuses. Now we have consolidated ourselves into 3 campuses. Earlier we had a campus of School of Engineering and Technology in Dimapur, and we are paying a lot of money towards renting and also maintenance of those buildings, and also for the establishment of that school. That was my primary task, how to shift that, because that was a temporary campus and that was not part of our act and statute or any statutory decision to locate over there. So we took a serious attempt to shift it to Kohima campus. The interesting thing was, in Kohima campus, we did not have a specific building of its own for School of Engineering. And by the time I came, we decided to construct that building. Although the money was granted earlier, the building was not taken off, in the sense that it was still in the process of tendering, all these things. I done with so much of seriousness and also speed. Speed was my more concern, because once we shift the building, the problem was how to accommodate the students, not only in the classrooms. After I came, we also built 2 buildings. One is a linguistic building and also a teacher education building. What we did, for the students' academic purpose, we shifted them to the new building and tried to convince those departments into manage and also adjust with this new School of Engineering and Technology. But what we saw, that the biggest challenge was residence for the students. Once we shifted, we need hostels, we need everything. And we, in fact, luckily got some accommodation with the intervention of the government. And we put up the students there, and we shifted the building, the school lock, stock and barrel. That was a kind of historical decision according to many of my colleagues and many people. They appreciate that at least Nagaland University, instead of having 4 campuses, because actually in Dimapur it was there, and near Dimapur in Mejipama we have got already 1 campus, that is School of Agricultural Sciences, and that actually is not a long away from from Dimapur. And for the Vice Chancellor sitting in Lumami to visit those campuses, given the kind of communication, connectivity, all these things. So that was not a big challenge, but it's a kind of logistic. That was the biggest challenge for the Vice Chancellor. Next point is the infrastructure. The infrastructure was, I would rather say, not sufficient for an academic institution, for central government, and also of a university dimension. The infrastructure was not so at all adequate at that point of time when I came. So the first and foremost task I undertook was to develop the basic infrastructure. You may ask, what is basic infrastructure? I would say accommodation for the teachers in the academic building, accommodation for the students in the classrooms, laboratories, the equipment, all sorts of facilities to fit into the 21st century requirement. Because all the setup that was in existence was 20th century setup. So it is a kind of quantum jump I wanted to have by having those infrastructure in a span of 3 years. Thankfully, we got the support from the Ministry of Education, sufficiently in terms of whatever the things that we required. We could be able to get it sanctioned from the ministry, and I really appreciate the proactive role of the ministry in supporting me in putting in place all sorts of requirements. So that now Nagaland University today, just I was returning, I should not mention this, from the Physics Academy of Northeast. And for the first time in Nagaland, we are convening the conference Physics Academy of Northeast. So Nagaland University was lagging behind the other states in terms of hosting the academic conference of physics in Northeast. So now we are confident enough that we can be able to organize any conference of national, international dimension. Of course, earlier also we organized many international conferences, but now we have got our own infrastructure. We don't have to go to MOKOKCHUNG and keep our guests in that city. Now we have got our own guest house, which is VIP guest house, with all the amenities, basic amenities. And similarly, we have got so many buildings that have come up. Here also, we did not have a proper science faculty building for physics, for mathematics, for forestry, and for environment science. So we constructed a huge building, 4-story building, with a large sum of 20 plus odd crore rupees funded by the Higher Education Funding Agency, and we could be able to finish that building within around 2 years' time. And we have already moved all the departments over there into that building. So we have been trying in terms of infrastructure. Now, in terms of because you are asking about the challenges, the challenge was only basic infrastructure. So we have really tried to cope up with the challenge and going for new buildings, new laboratory facilities, and so on.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your wonderful experience and challenges that you have faced and the achievement that you have done in this university. Well, sir, in your opinion, what are the qualities that a Vice Chancellor should have to be effective?
For a Vice Chancellor to be effective, first and foremost, he has to be open-minded and should be open to all stakeholders for conversation, for taking into account their concerns, their requirements, and also encouraging them and motivating them into an ecosystem where they can contribute to the academics. So I have been, to a large extent happy with the activities and the cooperation that are rendered by the stakeholders, my students, my teachers, the management staff, the statutory officers, and also my non-teaching staff. They have been so cooperative that whatever ideas that I come up with, they immediately accept without much concern, and they have enormous faith in the Vice Chancellor, that the Vice Chancellor will definitely, bring in some new ideas, new things, and that is what is required in the leadership of the academic institution, wherein the concerns and the requirements of all the stakeholders are taken care of adequately, not only adequately, but also create an ecosystem wherein they should be able to work with each at ease. So my non-teaching staff, they are feeling so happy about my presence in this university, who thought that this university can be run by a person who can provide them a kind of working environment where they can work with ease and with comfort. That's for the non-teaching. For the students, we have created so many policy, creating the right kind of atmosphere for the students for their learning and activities, other activities. And it's learning means not only academic learning, but also alongside academic learning, we have to have many other things like sports, mental health, all these things. And you visit any hostel now, they are provided with whatever minimum requirement that are to be there. I don't mean to say that it was not there earlier, but we have really improvised. We have provided with very good facilities, gadgets. We have provided in the laboratories, the equipments. We have just to cite one example. Last year itself, we spent around 10 crores for procuring this laboratory equipment and all the 3 campuses. Among the notable things that I have done in the last 2 years is, now we have established a multidisciplinary research center in Lumami campus, where we have got a 4-year undergraduate program. From this year onwards, and all the students will be admitted in that program will be through the CUET only, And we have got a cancer research laboratory, and I have got also for artificial intelligence and machine learning. We don't have, I don't say that a full-scale laboratory, but we are also having a laboratory, and also we are now planning to have a biotechnology laboratory, which is full-fledged, kind of the latest 21st century, facilities. All our laboratories, every laboratory, we have taken care to rejuvenate and also revive the facility. And our teachers are doing wonderful. And here I would like to inform the audience that Nagaland University is among the top universities in terms of ranked one, actually. It is ranked one in terms of granting of patents among the government universities in the country, in India. That is a great achievement for Nagaland University. And our ranking is also amongst in the cohort of 150 to 200 universities in the country. In that cohort, we are hopeful that next year we may improve our ranking. So that is my, take on this. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. We are very lucky to have a very effective Vice Chancellor with us, especially for Nagaland State. Now, sir, as we are all aware that the technology has become a primary resources, so how do you envision the role of technology in transforming the student learning experience and enhancing educational outcome?
With regard to the use of technology, immediately after I joined in the university, the first and foremost task was to have the teaching aids. The teaching aids means in terms of smart classrooms, in terms of electronic boards, in terms of many other facilities which would be handy for the teacher to communicate to the students. And also we have procured to the tune of more than 1.5 crores the only computers and these digital boards, and all departments are having now smart classrooms. All departments are equipped with latest computers, and the computers are also from reputed companies. The earlier computers were not having the latest configuration, and would like to emphasize that we go for branded computers, the computers which are not assembled in the local market. That is the kind of thing that was available in Nagaland University. And we replaced all the computers, almost all computers in the university, in all the 3 or 4 campuses earlier. And we have got all new computers. And that was my main thing. Our students are having access to top class internet facility. When I joined, the internet was not actually proper. We didn't have 100 Mbps. Now we got it to the extent of 500 Mbps. And we have got in terms of power supply, I will tell you, our Lumami campus is having a captive power supply. Similarly, we are now trying to have that kind of, power supply to all other campuses, that is Kohima campus and Mejifama campus. So electric supply, this computers, internet facility, all these things in the internets are available to the hostels. Students can, browse sitting in their hostel rooms. Another important thing I would like to inform, that our students have got the access, remote access to the library. Because now we have actually, last 2-3 years, we have acquired so much of e-resources, all electronic resources, and those electronic resources are accessible sitting remotely in their hostel rooms through their seamless internet connectivity. That is a very important thing. I've got so many things to list out, but finally I would like to bring in to the notice of all that the flagship program of Government of India, One Nation, One Subscription, under which we have got billions of pages of research articles, and we don't have to pay for that, because among the very few central universities, Nagaland University is also among them, which has the access of One Nation, One Subscription. And our students, our researchers, our teachers have got access to the billions of pages of research material. It's a great thing. We could be able to achieve that. There are so many things we have tried to become most up to date in the country, among other things, and we are trying to cope up with the various changes.
Thank you so much, sir, once again. So today we are facing a lot of mental issues. So in this regard, how would you address the growing concern about students' mental health and well-being in the campus?
First and foremost, the students in the classrooms are provided with a very good environment, and the teaching, the teachers, the teaching facilities, and all these things, will make them attractive to academic environment. That's number one. Number two is, after I joined here as a vice chancellor, I have tried to develop the sports infrastructure. When the sports infrastructure is improved, the students, the youth, will be motivated to engage their spare time in sports activity. And foremost among them, I have modernized the gym here. And you will be amazed to know our students, Naga students, are doing wonderful in the sports arena at the national level, in different sports, whether it is badminton, or football, or volleyball. There are other sports, also martial arts sports, where we have fared very well at the national level. This is because our students are now provided with adequate infrastructure. After I came, we have got basketball ground with electric light facility, so with the big floodlights. So our students can play in the night also under the floodlight, and we have got also very good indoor stadiums. Although we don't have that kind of indoor stadiums, but our indoor stadiums are well equipped now, and our students are always, actually all the indoor stadiums are crowded. Our students are engaged. So by engaging them in sports activity, in having very interesting academic environment, and importantly, all our students are provided, almost all students are provided with scholarship, so that they will not have economic hardship. Our research scholars, all of them are getting scholarship. After I joined, one thing I could initiate was to provide non-net fellowship to the PhD students. Those PhD students who do not have net qualification and they are admitted in the PhD program, they would be provided with some amount. It's not a huge amount, but some amount, so that they will not have any economic hardship. That is very important thing that actually everybody is liking that. Because of that, now our student enrollment for PhD program has exceeded 1,000. Not almost, more than double of what it was 3 years ago. That is a great kind of initiative. And our research scholars are provided with so much of incentives also, so that they will be sitting in the laboratory and doing the research, or they will be sitting in the department doing the research. I'm talking about the social science and humanities. Yesterday I was roaming in the evening. In the arts department, students were doing some kind of work in the late hours. That is a kind of heartening thing, because the tradition, the culture in Northeast is, around 4:30, 5 o'clock, everybody, the institution gets shut down. But you can go to our laboratories, you can go to your departments, many of them would be working. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. You are doing a very great job for the research scholar, the students in the campus. Next question that I want to ask is, sir, our country is becoming very competitive in the field of education, and our university is also one of the reputed university in Northeast. So do you have any strategies, plans to implement in order to ensure that the university remains competitive with the other top universities?
Yes. The bottom line is to implement the National Education Policy 2020. That is the instrument, that is the strategy, and that is the ecosystem that creates. That has to be fully realized. If we fully realize that, we will be at par with even the top-notch universities in the country. Yeah. So to implement this, first and foremost, what we did was to revise our syllabus, update our syllabus. Also, to implement that NEP 2020, we have introduced the 4-year undergraduate program, which I have already stated, and we are going to admit students from next year onwards in the basic sciences, 4-year undergraduate. And eventually, my intention is this is my vision, to have 4-year undergraduate program in place in Nagaland University per se. We can also groom young researchers, young academics from Nagaland University. Although many of them, our university is having 77 colleges affiliated. Let them have this undergraduate program. We will also have that. So when we have got these kind of strategies, to have this 4-year undergraduate program, to incentivize the teachers, to incentivize our research scholars at every stage, that will be, a kind of a mechanism to make them compete at par with the universities and the institutions of national repute. So this is one dimension. Another dimension is how to change the work culture, the academic culture. The students have to be present in the campus for longer hours. For that, we have to have the hostel facility for all. To have the teachers on the campus, we have to have more number of quarters, teachers accommodation. So for these things, we have lined up so much. And you will not believe, the next 2 years, we are going to have 20 buildings in the 3 campuses, and among them 6 hostels for the research scholars and the students, and for the teacher accommodation, even for the non-teaching accommodation. We have a budget worth 240 crores, 20 buildings. And buildings actually are not the only thing that we can provide to competitive at the national level. And as I have said earlier also, we are focused on our research and innovation. And that research and innovation, particularly in the context of Nagaland, I am encouraging my teachers, my researchers, that whatever area that they would like to work on, that should be related to the Nagaland state and also Northeast. So that whatever the typical or unique nature that we have in this part of the country, those things will be our advantage, and those are the vision areas where we can focus and we can make much headway in our research. And that is actually giving us a lot of results, as a result of which, our publication quality has improved so much that every day, virtually, we will have 1 or 2 publications of high impact journal. So that's a kind of an achievement of sorts, and our teachers are making so much of contribution at the international level. They are going at the national level, presenting their papers and publishing in the national journals. But all our publications are focused on to be put in the Scopus Index and Web of Science journals, which are international journals. Very interesting thing that I would like to also inform, that among the teachers, 4 teachers of our university are ranked among the 2% of scientists as per the Stanford Elsevier world ranking. So 4 teachers are among the 2% of the scientists of the world. So that is a kind of an achievement because of the ecosystem that has been created after I came here, and the facilities that we have tried to put in place. Those were contributing, and they are still contributing. And in future also, I am planning to further bolster that facility, and we are focused next year also to procure more of things that are necessary for cutting edge research. And my focus is now, for example, as I have said about the cancer research or artificial intelligence or machine learning. These things we are focused, and we are getting the necessary equipment and necessary facilities, and also the necessary ecosystem, so that our teachers will be focused on these cutting edge research and contribute from the context of Nagaland State and Nagaland University.
Thank you so much. You have mentioned a lot of achievement regarding our university. And then at this moment, I want to ask one more question, and that is, to keep pace with university progress, what is your core strength towards developmental measures for this Nagaland University?
My core strength has been my passion for work, and my passion for science, and my passion for research. I myself am a student of social science, though. You will not believe the extent of importance I attach to scientific research and developments in science activities. The entire focus is on science. It doesn't mean that I'm neglecting social science, because I'm from social science, but my passion is diligence, sincerity. These things, not only I manifest in my conduct, but also I expect my colleagues to be dedicated, to be serious and sincere in the pursuit of excellence. So I myself have excelled in my own field, in my own academic achievements. So I want that should be replicated in this institution where I'm the leader, and my colleagues are coming up to my expectation. That is my core strength. I can be able to motivate them to come to my expectation. So that is a great achievement for me, and that's a kind of core strength.
Thank you, sir. Coming to our next question. In your 3 years journey as Vice Chancellor, we have seen significant transformation under your leadership. So how would you like to see your Vice Chancellorship in the remaining period of your tenure?
For the remaining period of my tenure, my focus will be to continue with the tempo, with the vigor, with the focus that I have been doing for the last 3 years. The projects, the vision that I have initiated should see its fulfillment, starting from whether it is infrastructure or whether taking this university to a different level, because that was my original goal when I joined here, to take this university to a level wherein it will be amongst the top universities in the country. And I think I would be focusing that, and whatever the projects that we have started should see the completion and fully implemented, so that we will achieve our objective of making this university among the top 100 universities at least.
Thank you so much, sir. Your ability to prioritize tasks and managing time effectively is truly impressive. Sir, lastly, are there any advice or concern that you'd like to share with the radio listeners?
My message would be to the listeners that please do visit Nagaland University to see for yourself the developments, the achievements of Nagaland University. And I appeal to all the intellectuals of Nagaland, state of Nagaland, to visit and see for themselves what Nagaland University has been doing and what it is focused on, and how it can be helpful and contribute to the growth and development of the youth in the state, as well as their own children, our children. University is focused on shaping and building the future of the youth of Nagaland. And I expect the audience, the viewers, whosoever are listeners, they are there. Please see for yourself, so that your children, your ward should know what actually Nagaland University offers, so that they can be part of this dynamic institution, and we will also contribute for the dynamic growth of the state of Nagaland.
Sir, we really had a wonderful conversation, and once again, AKASHVANI MOKOKCHUNG is very grateful for sharing about the achievements of Nagaland University. We wish you the very best for your future endeavor. Thank you, sir.